You need to stop doing that, man. That's crazy. You're gonna get hurt, bro.
Okay.
It looks like you were. Whether you were or not, it's debatable.
Okay, so today we are in downtown LA shooting some cinematic B-roll using nothing but a smartphone. No fancy camera gear today, folks, shooting everything completely handheld. Now the aim is to capture enough shots to create a short cinematic sequence with music, color grading and sound effects that I'll show you at the end of this video. As you can probably tell from my accent, I am not from around here. I don't know the area well, but join me as I explore the city and share some filmmaking tips and techniques that you can apply to your own films and videos. Okay, let's start capturing some footage, starting nice and simple with a static shot of this building here across the road. Not exactly sure what this building is. Looks like we've got a coffee shop on the left. Definitely not the best shot in the world, but we're just warming up here. I'm sure we'll find plenty of better shots as we get deeper into the city. We've got this Los Angeles Fire Department vehicle on our right, as well as this palm tree, but I've also spotted a Los Angeles police vehicle parked outside this hotel, and this has definitely caught my eye. So let's grab a few shots of this. I really want to try and capture the essence of downtown LA in the final sequence, and this police vehicle will definitely help with that. As always, I'm going to lock focus and exposure by tapping and holding on the screen and hit record. Again, just starting simple with a static shot. I'll start to add more movement to these clips as we go. Now let's grab a quick shot of this hotel, a static shot, and let's quickly capture another one with a bit of movement. Let's go for a tilt down and reveal the hotel. Oh, and how's this for timing? We've got a Los Angeles fire truck pulling in, so let's grab a couple of shots of this to add to our final sequence. Okay, great, not bad, but we definitely need to start adding some movement to these shots, as well as some depth and foreground. So let's grab another shot of this police car, only this time reveal it from behind this van. I'm gonna lock focus and exposure again, and I'm gonna hit record. I'm gonna start with my camera behind the van, and then slowly reveal the police car. Let's take a look. Now, I'm not sure what the rules are on filming police here, but they don't seem to mind. So I'm just going to grab one more shot of this hotel, and then we'll move on to our next location. Okay, so it's always important to capture a good mix of shots, nice wide shots as well as detailed shots. So for this, I just want to capture a close-up shot of this street sign, and for this, I'm just going to orbit around it to help give it a bit more movement and interest. Okay, let's keep moving. Now, I've got to remember which way to look when I cross the road here, because we drive on the opposite side in the UK and we don't want any accidents. Also, fun fact, crossing the street like this used to be illegal here in LA. It was considered jaywalking. But in 2023, California passed the Freedom to Walk Act, which basically means pedestrians can now legally cross the street outside of crosswalks as long as it's safe, which I think it is. Okay, we've got another interesting sign here, this stop sign covered with stickers. This could make for an interesting shot. So I'm quickly going to do the same, just a smooth reveal shot like this. Okay, let's cross the road, and we've got another similar stop sign here. The first one had the high-rise apartments in the background, but this one has got the city skyline, which could look even more interesting. So I'm quickly going to grab a similar shot of this, and let's also get one sliding to the right and tilting up. We've got some birds in the background there as well. Okay, great. Okay, we've got this yellow fire hydrant here. This could make for an interesting shot, especially if I get low and wait for a car to drive by. We don't see these in the UK. I'm sure if you're from LA, this is totally normal, but for me, this is interesting. And as a general rule, if you find something interesting, chances are others will too. So it's definitely worth capturing. Also, remember, don't judge these as individual shots. On their own, they're not particularly interesting or exciting. All of these clips will really come to life in the final edit, especially when we add music and sound effects. Think of this a little bit like baking a cake. At the moment, we're simply picking up our ingredients. Flour as a standalone ingredient ingredient isn't particularly exciting, but mix that with some eggs, cocoa powder and butter, slap it in the oven, and the recipe really starts to come to life. Okay, let's keep capturing some shots. Now, I've just noticed a mural of a man painted on the back of the American hotel. Don't know who this guy is, but he's probably important if he's painted on the streets of LA, so I'm going to grab a shot. Now, here's a quick tip on camera movement. I want to reveal the LA skyline, but instead of just panning randomly, I'm going to use this car as motivated movement. So I'll pan with the car as it passes by, and that movement gives me a natural reason to end on the skyline and makes for a much more interesting shot. Also, there seems to be a lot of fire trucks here in downtown LA, so same again, I'm going to capture another shot panning with this fire truck motivated movement to reveal the city skyline. And speaking of fire trucks, we've got another one racing down the street now with its sirens on. I'm assuming there's some kind of an incident going on. But look, I'm not here just to capture visuals today, but also sounds. Sound design is what will really bring the final sequence to life, so I'm going to grab a quick shot. Okay, now we've got some shots panning and tilting, but now let's capture some shots pushing forward towards the city. I'm going to try and keep this shot as smooth as possible. Not easy without a gimbal, but let's give it a go. Got old matey there on my left, no idea what he wants, so I'm just going to keep on walking. Hey man. Okay, look, here's an interesting shot. I'm going to start with the camera pointing up towards these trees, push forward and tilt down to reveal the city skyline. Again, no gimbal being used for these shots, but the iPhone does have pretty good image stabilization, so I'm hoping we're going to get something that looks pretty smooth. Now, I always like to get a couple of shots, so I'm going to grab one more, this time with the traffic moving, so we have a bit more interest in this shot. Okay, onwards and upwards. Just going to grab a shot of these crossroads. Let's try one slightly lower to the ground. I actually lost track of where I am, but I'm just going to keep heading towards the city and capturing shots along the way. Again, just trying to capture the essence of downtown LA. Well, I was looking for a gritty back alley and I have found one. Look at this thing, look, covered in graffiti and rubbish. Makes for an interesting shot though. I'm going to get some static shots as well as a reveal, again giving me plenty of options in the final edit. Now, I'm not going to lie, the vibe of where I am has really shifted over the last few blocks. Rows of tents, and it is clear that some people here are going through some tough times, and as much as I want to capture the essence of downtown LA, I am not here to highlight people's struggles, so out of respect I'm not going to be filming anyone who appears to be homeless. Now, that being said, I still do want to include people, just not those that are struggling, so I'm going to try and keep it to the back of people's heads and from a distance. Okay, I think I might be in. I'm in pretty deep. We're in deep. Okay, now I'm not going to show you what I just saw, but I just walked past a young lady who was probably in her 20s smoking crack. She looked right at me as she took a hit. I'm not exactly sure where I am right now, but this place is unlike anywhere I've ever been, and I definitely need to keep my wits about me. Now, that encounter hasn't completely put me off just yet, and I still don't feel like I've got quite enough shots to create an edit, so I'm going to keep on shooting. Let's grab a shot of this street corner here. I like to capture shots of cars as they drive by because we can use these for transitions and reveals. Okay, let's keep exploring and see what's down this way. Now, I am not liking the look of whatever is happening down there. That street is full of tents. Now, nothing against the homeless, but through experience, I now know that a lot of the homeless here are on drugs, and I don't think walking down a street full of potential drug addicts would be a particularly smart move. Now, at this point, I Googled where I was, and it turns out I'm currently on Skid Row, which has the highest homeless population in the whole of America. Skid Row is a 54-block area in downtown LA, officially known as Central City East, and it's known for its high concentration of people experiencing homelessness and struggling with addiction. Crime is at an all-time high here, so I do need to be careful.
Deadly shooting near Skid Row in downtown LA.
Meanwhile, police say violence on Skid Row keeps getting worse.
Okay, let's keep heading towards the city and keep to more safer looking areas for now. We got this guy hosing down the pavement just across the street, so let's grab a shot of that. This is also a perfect opportunity to switch to slow motion. This could make for a pretty cool shot. And things are definitely looking a little livelier the closer we get to the city. We've got these shops that spread out onto the street. We've got what looks like a market across the road. Definitely want to grab a few shots here because this is going to help give a bit of extra life to the final sequence. Also, we've got a nice busy intersection here, plenty going on. Let's capture a smooth push forward as we cross the street, capturing all of the atmosphere of this location. Also, pushing your camera through things can make for much more interesting shots. Take this marquee, for example. I'm going to shoot using my wide-angle lens to create a greater sense of movement, push forward, and use the foreground as it passes by. Okay, we are pretty much in the heart of the city now. A lot more high-rise buildings here. Let's capture a quick shot of this street sign to let our audience know where we are. A nice, smooth orbit shot, camera moving to the right. We've got this hotel. Let's use these traffic lights as foreground to add depth and reveal the hotel whilst looking up. Also, I still don't have an opening shot for this sequence, and this could be a great place to get one. We're in the heart of the city, so let's capture a shot using the wide-angle lens pointing up, then push forward whilst tilting down to reveal all of the hustle of the city. Also, something I always like to do whilst I'm in the city is grab a shot pointing up and add a slight rotation. A time and a place for this, but definitely worth grabbing to give me more options in the edit. Okay, now what is about to happen here needs some context, so let me quickly explain what's going on. Now, as you can see, here I am capturing a shot using this pot plant as foreground. I'm going to start with the camera pointing up and tilt down to reveal the street. Here is that shot. However, once I'd finished capturing this shot, this guy here thought that I had been filming him and he was not happy about it, so he came over to let me know.
Why you taking pictures of me, bro?
No, I wasn't.
Yeah, yes, you were, bro. Why you taking pictures? Why you don't take the pictures of people,
No.
Bro, you were, bro. That was, come on, man. You're not stupid, bro. Bro, even it looks like it. Whether you were or not, it's suspicious. You need to stop doing that, man. That's crazy. You're gonna get hurt, bro.
Okay.
It looks like you were. Whether you were or not, it's debatable.
I was so close. I almost got through the entire shoot without getting in any trouble, but I failed right at the last minute. A simple misunderstanding. I've got nothing against this guy, and I can see why he might have thought that I was filming him. I know some of you are probably watching this thinking that he was very confrontational and aggressive, but genuinely, I think I got off pretty lightly considering the neighborhood. And actually, I think he was trying to give me a polite heads up on the rules of filming here in downtown LA. And this is part of the reason why I wear this behind the scenes camera. The main reason, of course, is to capture all of the behind the scenes so that I can share the filmmaking process with you, but it's also there for my protection and evidence. If my phone were to get snatched, which is pretty common in London or busy cities like LA, or I was to get punched in the face or stabbed, at least I would have that theft or assault on video. That footage could help identify them and maybe even stop it happening to someone else. But with all that excitement out of the way, let's see what today's footage looks like edited into a short cinematic sequence with music, color grading, and sound effects.
You need to stop doing that, man. That's crazy. You're gonna get hurt, bro.
So what did you think of that final sequence? Do let me know in the comments section below. And if you'd like to learn how to shoot and edit a sequence just like that, be sure to check out my 2-hour mini masterclass that shows you exactly how. I will also link that in the description below. But that's it from me. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.